So over the last couple of days, we've had one brand new TV spot and one new featurette to go over for Jurassic World Rebirth. Now this breakdown is coming a little bit late to at least the TV spot, because I've been waiting for it to come in HD so I can check if anything's in the background, but unfortunately we only have it in 720p quality, that's as far as I'm aware, so I've tried my best to break it down as best as I can since it is a little bit blurry, but that explains why I've kind of held off just a couple of days. But whilst I was waiting for the HD version, we did have a featurette that released that showcases some brand new scenes more focused on the characters of Jurassic World Rebirth. Now before I get into this video, unfortunately I am going to say this, even though it might damage the video and its watch time, but it seems like this video may contain spoilers for Jurassic World Rebirth. Yes, the movie isn't even out for another month, and I'm actually putting spoiler warnings in front of breakdowns because it's... I don't know, man. For some reason, this franchise and their marketing love to post spoilers, and we're going to be talking about one, maybe two spoilers from the movie. So just be aware that there may be potential spoilers in this video. But if you want to support me even further and you don't have the time to watch this whole video, then head on down to the description where you can find a link to the merch store where you can purchase all of your Rebirth-inspired merchandise. Surely when you go watch the movie, you want to sit there on theme as well. So why not purchase your items? But for now, let's get into the latest TV spot and featurette for Jurassic World Rebirth. So jumping right in it, this TV spot basically opens up with scenes that we've already seen from the trailers and other TV spots, but then it cuts to this one specific scene where we see Bashir Sylvain's character scaling down the cliffside. Now during this segment we actually get to see the Quetzalcoatlus fly around him and basically stalk him in some way, but of course based off other trailers we know that it does land ignoring Bashir Sylvain's character and heads into the nest. And that's kind of what happens in this TV spot, as we see one scene cut to that section, but then immediately after we cut to another scene where this Quetzalcoatlus is snapping at Bashir's character as he tries to scale the mountain upwards. Now it does look like this Quetz is actually coming from the inside of the cave, so we can safely assume that this scene actually takes place just after the sequence where we get to see the Quetzalcoatlus attack Zora and Henry inside where its nest is. I assume that they managed to escape alive, and then the Quetzalcoatlus basically, she's pissed, and she puts her head out and sees Bashir Sylvain's character there as well and starts attacking him. Now for the next two details and Easter eggs I am going to talk about, this is where the spoilers begin. In the next clip we see that at least Martin and Duncan are pulling Bashir Sylvain's character up from the cliffside, and we can presume that there is probably someone else holding that rope a little bit further back. This is surely to try and keep Bashir Sylvain's character alive and try to get him to safety. We even see Duncan scream and look very distressed about what's going on. And then the clip changes to another scene of the Quetzalcoatlus snapping at the legs of Bashir Sylvain's character as he just hopelessly dangles there. And then this is where the TV spots may have actually spoiled the fate of this character. So Bashir Sylvain's character we presume is called Leclerc. We've been speculating for so long how he may die in Jurassic World Rebirth because he is in some scenes through the trailer, but then in the scenes that we presume will take place later in the movie, he's nowhere to be seen. So we can kind of assume that he does die off. But I did not expect him to die off by the Quetzalcoatlus. The next clip showcases the Quetzalcoatlus and its sheer size to the cliffside. It's a very cool sequence, we get to see how big this creature really is, and we also get to see the characters kind of get scared and fall backwards. But we can also see that there is a rope within the mouth of the Quetzalcoatlus. This is because I believe the Quetzalcoatlus has actually snatched up and eaten Bashir Sylvain's character, and that's why we see the rope dangling from his mouth. Honestly, I don't know why they would spoil something like this in a TV spot. I am kind of pissed because it's one character that I believed may have survived a little bit later into the movie, and it's a character that I think probably would have had a really cool death sequence if it wasn't spoiled for this Quetzalcoatlus scene. Now I could be wrong, this could just be me theorizing, and I might actually be wrong, there's still a chance of that happening. Maybe the Quetzalcoatlus tried to snap him, only got the rope, and Bashir Sylvain's character actually fell to his death, or maybe he's dangling on another security rope or something. I don't know, but I think it's a bit obvious what kind of happened here. And just to add to that just a little bit more, I might be looking a bit too deep into this, but this sound, to me, that sounds like Bashir Sylvain's character actually getting injured, so maybe they even added that as well. But in my opinion, I don't know why they decided to spoil such a scene. You know, we could see him getting attacked and then they didn't have to show anything after that. At least with that, we're left thinking, will he survive, won't he survive? With the scene that they showed us, it's pretty obvious that he doesn't survive. But yes, it seems like this TV spot did spoil what happens to his character. Either way, it continues and we get to see the Mutadon, which is pretty cool. The Mutadon is dangling from the ceiling, and honestly, the more scenes that I see of this creature, the more I'm starting to see the Indoraptor within it. Now, of course, there's no correlation between the Mutadon and the Indoraptor besides maybe that Velociraptor DNA, but just the way that it kind of stalks its prey, the way that it dangles from the ceiling and kind of just attacks its prey, it looks so determined as if it was the Indoraptor from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So that's kind of the creature that I see within this creature. But judging by the surroundings of where they are, it looks like they're actually in this bunker, which is a sequence that we've been wondering what this place is for such a long time. Ever since trailer 1, we even see Zora shooting within this bunker as well. So now we actually know what creature they're hiding from, and that is the Mutadon. But the fact that we see the Mutadon within this sequence and far away from the petrol station, this is where I think this quote from Xavier comes into play. After he said that, it's quite obvious that he may have actually come across the Mutadon before, because the way that he sees it, it seems like he recognizes it. So I was wondering, where else have they seen the Mutadon before? So the first time that they come across the Mutadon in the movie won't be the petrol station, but will instead be this bunker sequence that we get to see. Either way, the sequence does continue as the Mutadon chases down Duncan, and then Duncan does a dive barrel roll to avoid the claws and clutches of this Mutadon. Now this sequence actually looks very similar to Jurassic World 2015's, where we actually get to see Owen Grady escape from the Velociraptors. The dive roll, the gate falling over, the last minute dive, everything of the sort, even the Mutadon's head sticking through the gaps of the cage, reminds me so much of Jurassic World sequence. And that's pretty much it for the TV spot. Nothing really happens after that, but we did get a featurette to now break down as well. In this featurette, it basically goes on to explain things that happened and how they shot on site, all of that type of stuff, loads of behind the scenes stuff, and honestly, it's quite enjoyable to watch, and it's probably one of my favourites, so I highly recommend going and watching that one. But let's get started with the details in this one. So we actually get to see a scene here with both Zora and Martin just kind of chilling what is presumably the Hudson River in New York. And how do we know it's New York? Well, a few months ago we obviously got told that it is a scene that takes place in New York, but on the boat we actually get to see the words Hunts Point, and this is actually a location based within New York as well. So it proves that they go to the Natural History Museum of New York. After speaking to Zora, they acquire Dr. Henry Loomis, then they go to Senegal to get Duncan Kincaid, and then they get the team from there, and then they go to St. Hubert, which is the island in Jurassic World Rebirth. But continuing on with this featurette for Jurassic World Rebirth, we get loads of generic shots of most of the crew. There's a new extended clip of the Tyrannosaurus Rex almost treading on the dinghy where Isabella Delgado is hiding in. Soon after that we get loads of behind the scenes recording of Jurassic World Rebirth as well, and then we get some new scenes of the Titanosaurus. Now this scene, just like a few others in the movie, actually looks very similar yet different. That's because it seems as though they actually CGI'd a new background there with a new look of the dinosaurs, and maybe with some new models as well. The model that we see in trailer 1 for the Titanosaurus is completely different to the one that we get to see in these TV spots. We get to see, at the very least, Zora, Martin and Duncan looking out to sea, where they just seem to be washed away by the waves. So presumably this takes place after the Mosasaurus and Spinosaurus incident, where the Mosasaurus may have crashed the boat, but the way that they're looking over makes you question if anybody actually came out alive besides those three. Obviously most of them have done, but we do know there is at least one death in this sequence. And then this next scene, whilst loads of people are saying that it kind of spoils the ending of Jurassic World Rebirth, I wouldn't go too deep into that. Of course, a minor spoiler warning here because it may actually be the ending of Jurassic World Rebirth, but I'm going to add some possibilities to make you think otherwise. So this clip right here, we actually get to see another dinghy, and we get to see the characters of Henry, Xavier, Isabella, Teresa, Ruben, Zora, all there on the boat. Noticeably, Duncan and Martin are both missing. So maybe this is them escaping the island and Martin and Duncan don't survive this. But at the same time, I think that this is just them escaping the area. We know that Martin could die because we sense that he is a bad guy, Duncan at this point in time, judging by the colorization and the lighting, might actually be luring away the Distortus Rex as well, so that could explain the absence of these two characters. But this could be the end of the movie where they finally get away from Saint Hubert. However, I wouldn't look too deeply into that. I still think there's still a possibility that this set takes place in the last quarter of the movie, but maybe not the very end, and doesn't explain how they get away. I still think that it's a helicopter extraction. Now, as we were saying, this movie is still in development. They are changing a few scenes, like we said about the Titanosaurus, but the Dilophosaurus here actually has a new colorization. It seems like they upped the color contrast of the oranges and the darks on this dinosaur compared to trailer 1 that we saw. And there's also a slightly new shot of the Titanosaurus tail that we never got to see as well. We saw this as well in trailer 1, and I think it was actually the very first time we saw a dinosaur in Jurassic World Rebirth. But comparing the one in this featurette to the TV spot, this tail is a lot longer, the background is different, the colors are different, and it doesn't even just stop there. Fans went to Twitter, they showcased the differences between the scenes from the very first trailer and the brand new scenes that we've got now, and it just goes to show how this movie is constantly in active development. Even though it's still just a month away, I still have a feeling that they're still working on the movie now. But then at the very end of this featurette, we get yet another new scene from the river raft sequence, and it's just basically a new angle of the Tyrannosaurus sticking his head through the rocks trying to kill everyone. It literally is only extended by a second, if that. But that's pretty much all of the new scenes that we got for TV spots and featurettes this week for Jurassic World Rebirth. This week has honestly been a blast to break down. I did try my best to break these down as fast as possible, but I wanted that HD sequence. We just haven't got it just yet. I don't think there's too much I have missed, but why they're spoiling this type of stuff, I don't know. For Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, they spoiled a lot of stuff, and I think that's probably why a lot of people didn't really enjoy the movie. For Jurassic World Dominion, they learned from their lessons, and they didn't spoil too much for Jurassic World Dominion, although all of the species were spoiled before the movie came out. But it seems like they're following the same pattern with Fallen Kingdom in Jurassic World Rebirth now. We kind of know the whole shebang and what happens, so I don't know, marketing for Jurassic is always questionable. But if you enjoyed today's video, then please head on down to the comments and let me know your favourite scene that we broke down today. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here for all of your latest Jurassic stuff. Don't forget to check out the merchandise as well via a link in the description, but most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hey, did you enjoy the video? Well, why not leave a like and subscribe for more Jurassic content? I appreciate every single one of you for reaching this point into the video and supporting me this far. If you wish to support me even further, then feel free to head on down to the description where you can find links to donate, my Patreon, and you can also press that join button to become a member here on YouTube and gain access to some awesome emojis. A massive thank you to all of the YouTube members for this month, as well as the amazing fans over on Patreon too. Your extra bit of support really goes a long way. But for now, I wish you a great rest of your day.